Hello folks, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, welcome back, welcome back. So, let's make everybody uncomfortable, let's crack on. So you all watched Space Cell, right? You all watched it? In their desperation, they reveal themselves. The truth is in the movies, the lies are in the news. Your life is full of choices, be careful what you choose. You know that they are fearful, just watch how they react. Broadcasting spells on airwaves, subliminal attacks. So, straight in there, we went through Isaiah 24 to 27. Let's get on to 30. We'll skip to 30. Whoa. There we go, that's the prophets. Whoa. Straight in there. Woe to the rebellious children, says the Father, who take counsel and carry out a plan, but not mine, and who make a league and pour out a drink offering, but not of my spirit, thus adding to sin. Just pour a little out for dead homies. Who set out to go down in Egypt and have not asked me, to flee to the stronghold of Pharaoh and to strengthen themselves in his strength and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength and protection of Pharaoh turn to your shame, and the refuge in the shadow of Egypt be to your humiliation and confusion. For though Pharaoh's officials are at Zone and his ambassadors arrive at Hanes, yet will all be ashamed because of a people, the Egyptians, who cannot profit them, who are not a help or a benefit, but a shame and a disgrace. A mournful, inspired prediction, a burden to be lifted up concerning the beasts of the south, the Negeb. Oh, the heavy burden, the load of treasures going to Egypt, though a land of trouble and anguish. Through a land of trouble and anguish in which are lionesses and lion, viper and fiery serpent. They carry their riches upon their shoulders of young donkeys and their treasures upon the humps of camels, to a people that will not and cannot profit them. For the Egyptians shall help in vain and to no purpose. Therefore I have cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still. Now go, write it before them on a tablet and inscribe it in a book, that it may be as a witness for the time to come forevermore. There you go, you know how the Bible's written, right? They always write things down, write it down. For the sins of this rebellious people, faithless and lying sons, children who will not hear the law and instruction of the Father. This was us. This was us. We got destroyed physically, mentally, and emotionally. This is all of you now. This is many other nations. Trusting in Egypt, drunk on the Babylonian wine. And it's not just a black and white thing. You nations can sit there and laugh. You can laugh. But you're just as wicked. You're just as wicked. You're drunk on the wine as well. You've committed heinous crimes as well. All your countries, just look at your society. This applies to everybody now. For this rebellious people, faceless and lying sons, children who not hear the law and instruction of the Father, who virtually say to seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not. Prophesy not to us what is right. Speak to us smooth things. Prophesy deceitful illusions. You hear that a lot. And you hear it on the telly, on TBN, Joel Osteen and that. You hear it here on YouTube. But, you know, the Israelites are back. We're here to make you understand. Get out of the true way. Turn aside out of the path. Cease holding up before us the Holy One of Israel. Stop, stop, stop. God loves everybody. God loves everybody. Therefore, thus says the Holy One of Israel, because you despise and spurn this, my word, and trust in cunning and oppression, in crookedness and perverseness, and rely on them. Therefore, this iniquity and guilt will be to you like a broken section of a high wall, bulging out and ready, at some distant day, to fall, whose crash will then come suddenly and swiftly in an instant. And he shall break it as a potter's vessel is broken, breaking in pieces without sparing, so that there cannot be found among its pieces one large enough to carry coals of fire from the hearth, or to dip water out the cistern. For thus says Father Yah, the Holy One of Israel, in returning to me and resting in me you shall be saved. In quietness and in trusting confidence shall be your strength, but you would not. Luke 13:34, you would not. Jeremiah 6:16, we will not. Isaiah 30:15, you will not. We will not, we will not, we will not. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. Yeah, you see it now. You see it now. They know your book better than you. And you said, no, we will speed our own course on horses. Therefore, you will speed in flight from your enemies. You said, we will ride upon swift steeds, doing your own way. Therefore, will they pursue you, be swift. So swift that 1,000 of you shall flee at the threat of them. At the threat of 5 you will flee, till you are left like a beacon or a flagpole on the top of a mountain, and like a signal on a hill. I need to read an excerpt. Now, the excerpt I wanted to read, I started reading it, and I thought I was just going to read a small bit. But it turned out I'm going to have to read a couple of pages to get the full effect. So you can pause here, and in tomorrow's video, get that excerpt, and then come back to this video to where I left it. Isaiah 30:17, 1,000 of you will flee at the threat of one of them, and a threat of 5 of them you will flee, till you are left like a beacon or a flagpole on the top of a mountain, or like a signal on a hill. But we'll go on anyway, because I'm just going to leave this a short one. 30:18. And therefore the Father earnestly waits, expecting, looking and longing to be gracious to you. And therefore he lifts himself up, that he may have mercy on you and show loving kindness to you. For the Father is a God of justice, blessed, happy, fortunate, to be envied, all those who earnestly wait for him, who expect and look and long for him, for his victory, his favor, his love, his peace, his joy, and his matchless, unbroken companionship. So if you've just returned from the other video where I've read the excerpt, you understand how serious this is. But never mind, if you'll just carry on watching through, we'll just continue. But tomorrow's video, you'll get it. O people who dwell in Zion, at Jerusalem, you will weep no more. He will surely be gracious to you at the sound of your cry. When he hears it, he will answer you. And though the Father gives you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet your teacher will not hide himself anymore. Yet your teacher will not hide himself anymore. But your eye will constantly behold your teacher. That's good, man. That's good. And though the Father gives you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet your teacher will not hide himself anymore. But your eyes will constantly behold your teacher. Who's that talking about? Anymore. We've had the bread of adversity. We've had the water of affliction. We know this book is ours now. We know what Yeshua did for us. And our eyes constantly behold our teacher. And your ears will hear a word behind you saying, "This is the way." I love that. I love that. I'm sure like any Mandalorian fans, yeah, we love that. We love that. Finding that like in the book, watching Mandalorian and like, that's somewhere in the book. That's in the book. And your ears will hear a word behind you saying, "This is the way. Walk in it." When you turn to the right and you turn to the left, then you will defile your carved images overlaid with silver and your molten images plated with gold. You will cast them away as filthy, blood-stained cloth, and you will say to them, "Be gone." No other gods. No tarot cards, none of that, no other nonsense. None of this spiritual energy and all that other nonsense, taking everything away from the book. No more nonsense. We don't want to hear any of that when we leave the West. Be gone. Then will he give you rain for the seed with which you sow soil, and bread and grain from the produce of the ground. And it will be rich and plentiful, and in that day your cattle will feed in large pastures. The oxen likewise and the young donkeys that till the ground will eat savory and salted fodder, which has been winnowed with shovel and with fork. And upon every high mountain and upon every high hill there will be brooks and streams of water in the day of the great slaughter, the day of the Father, when the towers fall and all his enemies are destroyed. Moreover, the light of the moon will be like the... Okay. Moreover, this hit me, man, this hit me. Moreover, the light of the moon will be like the light of the sun. The light of the moon will be like the light of the sun. But the light of the sun will be sevenfold. What's... I'll let that sink in just for a second. and see if brothers and sisters are. Let's start from the top. Moreover, the light of the moon will be like the light of the sun, but the light of the sun will be sevenfold, like the light of 7 days, concentrated in one. In the day that the Father binds up the hurt of his people, he binds up our hurt and heals their wound, afflicted by him because of their sins. You see, this is what's happening now. Do you see it yet? What clicked into your mind? What do you see on our TV screens? They had all this time to put things right. You see, when you hear together was 140 years ago. You know? Fought civil war. Slavery was abolished. And that was the time for together. And the time to put things right was 60 years ago. Civil rights and that, even before then. And every time since then, every decade, all the times. And we still fall for it. We still hear this nonsense about together and putting things right. And that time has long passed, right? But they would not. They would not. They took everything from us. Especially if you've just come back from the old video. There'll be a lot more excerpts. We'll see it. We're walking through the prophets. Okay. They took everything from us. And they told us, pull up your bootstraps. And when we weren't looking, they undone our laces. Now the very thing that they need, we hand over freely. We just hand it over. It's ridiculous over here. Come and see. Come and see. It's ridiculous over here. So let me read 26 again. Moreover, the light of the moon will be like the light of the sun, and the light of the sun will be sevenfold. Skip to 27. Behold, the name of the Father comes from afar, burning with his anger, and in thick rising smoke. His lips are full of indignation, and his tongue is like a consuming fire. You could skip back to Isaiah 11 and 4. And his breath is like an overflowing stream that reaches even to the neck, to sift the nations with the sieve of destruction, and a bridle that causes them to err will be in the jaws of the people. You shall have a song as in the night when a holy feast is kept, and gladness of heart as when one marches in procession with a flute to go to the temple on the mountain of the Father, to the rock of Israel. We're musical people, yes. We're famous for it. Singing, again, constantly in this book. Singing, 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 singing. That's where we get it from. But that's not all we are. It's not all we are. We are more than that. They utilize our God-given talents for their gain. But as it said earlier, but not benefiting us. We will look all spellbound seeing the one or two Negroes who made it, you know, all looking all spellbound. And they're dancing away and entertaining away and just in their robes and their gold and silver, given a name and given a place in the Pharaoh's courts. Yeah, you see it now. You see it now. Well, because of just a couple of days ago, I told you that about Balak offering Balaam. Curse these people, and I will give you a name. You will have a place in my courts. Yeah, you see it now. So let's just refresh what it said in verse 3. Therefore shall the strength and protection of Pharaoh turn to your shame, and the refuge in the shadow of Egypt be your humiliation. And the Father shall cause his glorious voice to be heard, and the descending blow of his arm to be seen, coming down with an indignant anger, and with the flame of a devouring fire, amid crashing blast and cloudburst, tempest and hailstones. At the voice of the Father, the Assyrians will be stricken with dismay and terror, when he smites them with his rod. Every passing stroke of the staff of punishment and doom which the Father lays upon them shall be to the sound of Israel's timbrels, lyres when in battle. He attacks Assyria with swinging and menacing arms. For Topheth, a place of burning and abomination, has already been laid out and long ago prepared. Yes, for the Assyrian king and the god Molech, it has been made ready. Its power made deep and large, with fire and much wood. The breath of the Father, like a stream of brimstone, kindles it. That's why I'm going to leave it short. 25 minutes. Leave it short because that's a lot to meditate on. Just that one verse, Isaiah 30, that one chapter. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm not saying take my word for it. This is exactly what it means, but as you see, this book just flows round and round. It's timeless. The book's timeless. You just have to have the eyes, the fresh eyes and the fresh ears to see it. It's a lot to meditate on. You would not. You would not. We would not. I will not. We're not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. You want to carry on passing your babies to the fire. Yes, for the king of Syria and the god Molech, it has been made ready. Its power made deep and large, with fire and much wood. The breath of the Father, like a stream of brimstone, kindles it. Fires kept burning. I don't know what more we gotta say. Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. But you know, the Israelites are back. You're not going back, but the Israelites are back, as promised. Learn from Argentina. Learn from Argentina. Look how they were fed the lies. Remember the dude with his Beatles hairstyle and he was so cool? He had his chainsaw and he used to be some sort of sex guru. And everyone was like, yeah, this guy. Dancing in the streets and cheering. And did you learn from Argentina? Look how they're bawling and crying out now. Look how they... First thing he did when he was elected, he put his little hat on and went to headbutt the wall. Doesn't matter who you vote, it's gonna happen. And if the war stops, it means the job is done. But Kamala Harris is gonna take the credit for it. Donald Trump is going to take the credit for it. It doesn't matter. Learn from Argentina. You are only human. Be better.